want to welcome you back to Black Side. Tonight, we're going to talk about the Trace Act, H.R. Bill 6666. This bill is being introduced by Congressman Bobby Rush out of Chicago, Illinois. Basically, the United States government wants to fund the nation with building a trace test army across the nation. I'm here in New York State right now, and Michael Bloomberg, if you can remember him, he said he's willing to spend upwards to $1 billion helping Governor Cuomo fund a trace army. And this is extremely dangerous. The reason why I want to tell you this is that this trace army will follow anybody who has COVID-19. But if you know anything about COVID-19 testing, there have been many false positives all around the world. But this Trace Act gives the government the opportunity to come trace you if you're tested positive, come into your home, basically quarantine members of your home, take your children out of your home and place them into a quarantine center. Basically, they are giving the government power over you and your family to be able to come into your residence and basically take over your residence. This is very powerful and is very scary because this program, if passed, will first be introduced in Ventura, California, but we have also seen incidents already when they have started this program in Nashville, Tennessee, in the public housing projects. The commissioner over there in Nashville says she feels as though it's extremely important that everyone in public housing, because they are so close together, that everyone must be tested. So they kind of like rolled it out in Nashville, Tennessee, and they also have been doing this up in New York City, going to the public housing projects and checking on everybody and basically saying, if you have the virus, we're going to contact trace everyone. And this is going to be scary because you could be at work and they could say that you have COVID-19. By the time you get home, these contact tracers could be at your house, taking your children, putting them into quarantine somewhere that you may not even know where they're at, because this bill gives them the power to do whatever they want to do. And this is too much power for the government, if you ask me. These contact tracers should not, I repeat, should not have the ability to take you out of your home. There's a video on YouTube, I don't know if it's been taken down, of the Canadian police going into a home of two adults, and I guess at this particular time they have been doing contact tracing. And they said, you need to come to the hospital, I guess, to be tested or checked out. The people refused. But they had a contact tracer who worked for the healthcare department, came in with 3 or 4 police officers. And the police officer said, we have to follow orders. And they end up taking this couple out of their home and forcing them down to a medical center to be checked against their own will, basically against their own constitutional rights. And this should not be happening in America. There has been some petitions out there. Dr. Bakhtari and Rizza Islam, I don't know if you like them or not, who cares? Sometimes people are right on change.org, that you can sign saying that you are against this bill. This bill gives the government too much latitude and too much power against the American citizens. This bill is so dangerous because if you notice, each county here, upstate New York and Erie County, they're trying to get 250 contact tracers. And that's a powerful thing right there, a contact trace, especially when you don't have tests that are 100% certain that someone could possibly up in your life. And in the Constitution, they have no right to do this. And this is sad that someone like a Bobby Rush a former Black Panther, remember this, is behind introducing this bill. See, it seems like for some reason they want to get into the black community. And if you notice, during this whole pandemic, everything was going on. People were dying, people were being infected, but all of a sudden, about a month or two into this thing, they start saying that black people were dying at a disproportionate rate. And I was more or less saying, wait a minute. You know, statistics can make a fool out of you. You can find a way to say disproportionate anyway. So they said they're dying. So all of a sudden, you hear about we need more testing. We need more contact tracing in the black community because they want to use the black community as a guinea pig for these vaccines. The first place they're going to run to give these harmful vaccines to is the black community. And the reason why, and I'm going to tell you this right now, under the 1986 Act, when it comes to vaccines, they can give you that vaccine and you can't sue. This is why this bill was passed during the Reagan administration. So if you get sick and die, you are some of the first people who are given this vaccine. There is no way you can sue this drug company. It could be Pfizer, any drug company around the world. And as you notice, when those two French scientists said, we're going to Africa to do the testing, the reason why, so they would not be responsible or held responsible by any entity within Africa. These people are untrustworthy. You cannot trust Anthony Fauci or any of these people who are connected with this pandemic. Bill Gates, Fauci, Redfield over at the CDC, because they will not take this vaccine first and take it to the suburbs with white people. They will use you first. And I heard over in Cincinnati they were possibly doing some vaccine testing to see how this thing might affect people. You have to be extremely careful when they put a black face on something. When they do it, they put a black face to make you comfortable with this bill and with this testing. And what did they do? They put a former Black Panther as a person to introduce this bill. This is not a coincidence. And we must not be guinea pigs for the drug complex who sells us these vaccines to make billions of dollars. And I'm talking about to have this vaccine will be billions and billions of dollars. And when they give you the vaccine or when you take the shot, they're going to inject you with the COVID-19 because that's part of you being immune to it. So you must be careful. And I'm tired to see this going on in the black community. See, the thing about us is that we must take care of ourselves. We must have our own doctors advocate for us. And you don't want the government in your house. I repeat, you don't want the government in your house. Because you know how DFS or department or any department that has to do with the county government, you know how they treat us and our kids. They'll find any way to take our kids out of our home. And you're going to see a number of confrontations when it comes to black people in these contact tracers. They have no right to be in your home. They have no right to be on your property. But this bill will give them that right. I want to thank you for listening to Black Site. I hope you subscribe to this channel. Smash that like button and share this video. If you would like to make a donation, go to PayPal. Cash App or Streamlabs.